Hello everyone, welcome to a series of Fruitful Events, a series in which I talk about all the fruitful things that have happened in my life that I feel could be a benefit to you. I am literally so sorry that I haven't been active for the month of December. I fully intended on finishing this series in 2024 and leaving it in 2024, but God said no. So now we're here. In hindsight, I'm actually really excited that this episode is actually in the new year because I know a lot of people are doing New Year's resolutions and a lot of them are related to fitness. So let's talk about it. Now, fitness is a very near and dear topic to me, especially in pertinence to my wellness journey, mainly because I feel like a lot of my life really has been able to fall into place because I was able to prioritize fitness and also diet, obviously, but I'm really glad that I took the leap to do so. But in talking about fitness and health, I do want to also talk about mental health because I think both of those things, mental and physical, kind of go hand in hand. And I think we don't talk enough about how both can kind of coincide with each other, even though I feel as though it might be common knowledge. I don't know. Is it? Maybe so. So the three things I kind of want to discuss in pertinence to my journey when it comes to my wellness and fitness and mental health journey, I think the three things that are really key to remember is knowing that you've done hard things before and you can do it again, learning how to remind yourself of why you do what you do, especially out of a place of love rather than ego. And the last is also just making sure that you show up every day as yourself. So something that I want to announce is that I did the weight loss challenge at my gym, which is the Edge Fitness, which is actually what started a series of unflavorable events, which then in turn was the inspiration for me to do Fruitful Events now. And what's funny is that I decided to do this series almost a similar way that I did the first time, which was to coincide it with my fitness journey, but also do a catch-all of just talking about my wellness journey as a whole. And it's funny because in my commitment to do so, that was like 4 or 5 months ago. And so much has changed since then. And the announcement that I want to share with you guys is that with the weight loss challenge that I did, I ended up winning. Thank you. No flash photography, please. I know, I'm too famous. So, wow, the light is dimming and so is my time. So I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible, y'all. So, pretty much when it comes to the first topic of fitness and health, which is pretty much just coming in and remembering that you've done hard things before, I think having that mentality is a really good way of approaching your fitness and diet journey. And the reason why is because, at least on my end, when I kind of remembered that the last several years, especially with everything that you guys know now that you've followed a series of Fruitful Events, I've gone through a lot, especially with like emotional, mental, and spiritual challenges. And I feel like the last thing to have conquered after all those things was the fitness and health aspect when it came to my body. And I'm glad that it went that way because for a lot of people, it goes in many different ways. And I'm really glad that my journey panned out the way that it did because it just makes sense for me to have gone through the lengths and the journeys and the trials and the tribulations that I've gone to end up here. Now, with that also being said, something that allows me to kind of get in the place I need to be able to go into the gym, work with my trainer, and do the diets and things like that is remembering that it's all mental. Like, I know that it's great to have the resources to be able to look at a workout plan, look at a diet plan, set that time with your trainer to be able to work with them the amount of times that you pay to see them. But the only way that you can really, really get the benefits that you need is to remember, anyways, one of the aspects being that if you've done hard things before, which I know everybody has to some degree, you can do it again and you can apply it into the physical aspect. If you endured, like in my case, like what, 6 years of healing after having experienced limerence, gender dysphoria, maladaptive daydreaming, narcissistic abuse. Like, I just have gone through so much. And in looking at my journey these last several years and knowing what it took to get to this point, if I knew, well, not even if, I knew that I put all that effort into the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspect to get here. So what's a couple of reps with my trainer? What's the 30 minutes I'm allotted with him to really hone in on everything that I'm doing? Is it gonna hurt? Yeah. Is it gonna be a lot? Absolutely. Do you want to punch that man at the end of the day? Absolutely. And I've even told that man directly that once I'm done training with him, we're fighting in the back of Panera. But listen, all those things happen for a reason. And having all those things come together, I think, can help you really reframe the way that you approach fitness. The second thing I kind of want to discuss is about looking at the reason why you're doing your fitness journey and making sure that it's not from a place of ego. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people, especially in the new year, like where we are right now in 2025, a lot of people want to look and feel good, and that's great. And obviously that's enough reason to do your fitness journey, by all means. I don't think there's a stupid reason or that there's a wrong reason, but I do think that actually there is a wrong reason. That's why we're here. The wrong reason being is, again, operating from a place of ego. And what that means and looks like, at least to me, is, for example, when I did my fitness journey back in 2018, 2017, I did it for external validation. I wanted to prove to people that I could be as masculine as I could be, even though my version of masculine was being an Asian twink. But like, I really wanted to prove to people that I could fit the archetype of like the gay twink that was fit, that was handsome, that was this, that, and the third. But that was all external validation. I wasn't doing things from this place. I was doing things from a little bit of this place, but in a place of anxiety and fear. I couldn't afford to live my life as authentically as I am now. And in that mentality, you end up in a place where a lot of the things that you do are a symptom of that cause. And to remember that you have to kind of approach what you're doing with intention, I think is something that we have to always keep in mind when we set intentions for, or resolutions even, for the new year, or even just goals in general, when we think about the bigger picture of what we want out of life. I think something that has really allowed me to get to this realization was, again, all the things that came before this episode that allowed me to apply those things into my fitness journey, but also just remembering that at the end of the day, the reason I'm doing fitness now is because I want to be a better drag performer. I remember when I was fit, I was able to do so much more. Granted, was I where I wanted to be? Not completely, but I was able to do a lot more than I ever have. Now, granted, again, could it be better? Yes. Could there be a little bit more refinement? Sure. But I had the ability to just endure throughout a performance rather than getting tired like 30, 45 seconds into a performance, because when I was a little bit thicker than a Snicker, all I could do was park and bark. And granted, am I good at that? Yeah, that's how I was able to get through my drag career up to that point. But when I was able to work steadily as a drag queen and do it while I was working out, I was able to really see just how beautiful I could be in terms of approaching my performance. Because also another thing when it came to my drag at the time was that I genuinely relied on the comedy shtick, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm also a pretty girl. So why not maximize my joint slay by being pretty and funny and also really, really talented and gorgeous in my presentation with performing. And if that means doing a little bit better with dancing, that's what I want to do. I'm not trying to be Tate McRae or Beyonce. I'm trying to at least be Dua Lipa, where I started off not being able to deliver, but now I can, and I'm working towards that goal now. So that's one of the moving parts to why I'm approaching my fitness journey the way that I am now. Another thing that brings me to why I'm doing my fitness journey is also because of the mental health aspect. I know that with having ADHD, I have a lot of energy and I also need a lot of redirection. And I think being able to put all of the energy of me pacing around a room or spending hours on end, like living in anxiety and just being up here, like I put into the hour and a half that I'm in the gym. And that's 30 minutes working out, 30 minutes cardio, and then 15, 20 minutes doing what I need to do in the shower, and then the last 10 getting a protein shake and then leaving and going where I need to go. I think that really helped not only bring a routine for me, but also allowed me to be able to put my energy where I needed to, so then that way I could do the things I need to in my daily life, while also taking care of my mental health. And I think that that's something that really helps, especially in my particular case. Now that it's like really dark, I'm gonna finish off with the last part, which is kind of going back over and realizing that when you approach anything that you do, you have to show up as yourself on that day. And what I mean by that is going in and having the mentality of saying, if all I have to offer at the gym today is 60%, I'll give all of that 60%. If I'm at 100% that day, I'm gonna give you all of that 100. If I'm even at a 10, at least working with that full 10 reminds me that I'm doing something. It's better than not doing anything at all. I'm at the point now where like, and people see it whenever I post on my personal account, like I'll say things like, oh, like, should I go to the gym? And then like literally 30 minutes later, I'm there. And I always say like, oh, I didn't want to be here, but I'm here, which is true. But it's like remembering also that you're there for a reason, but you're also there to kind of take all the principles I mentioned before, which is remembering that you've gone through hard things before so you can do it again. And remembering why you are doing your fitness journey and making sure that it's not from a place of ego or fear or low vibration, as the spiritual woo-woo girls would say. Just make sure that you're doing things from here and not letting out here affect anything that goes on here. And something that I also want to add to all of this is that when I showed up as me every day at the gym, I was able to apply that to the rest of my life. And now I'm able to live my life the way that I am right now and share these things with you because I've lived it. Now, can I say with full confidence that I'm where I want to be? Yes, but I also know that there's so much more that I want to do and so much more that I want to overcome and conquer and have for myself. So I think that's something that we need to remember, is that it's all about the journey and not the destination. I mean, the destination is where we want to go. Like, that's why we have the quest that we have. But remembering that the journey is just as meaningful as the destination, I think, is something that can really help put everything into perspective for you. With that, the sun is exiting the chat and so am I. So it was lovely catching up. I can't believe I was able to finally do another episode. We did it. Now, with that said, the next episode is the finale, and it's all about the tenacity of the human spirit. And I can't wait to talk about that topic with you because that's the reason why I started this series. And it's so much more meaningful now that I've lived through what I've lived through in the last couple months to be able to get to this point. Now, in an ideal world, would all of this have happened at the time that I would have preferred it to before the year ended? Sure. But if we're gonna look at things that I'll also mention in the next episode, just a full picture is that everything happens for a reason. And I'm really happy with where I'm at in my journey. There's still things I need to work on. I'm not perfect. I'm not necessarily like out here always winning, but of the wins that I do have, I'm really proud of. It took a lot to get here. And I think that that's something to really honor and really enjoy and really bask in, especially in pertinence to my fitness and health. I was able to win the challenge. I've done that challenge 6 times. And it was the 6th time that I was able to win something. Now, that wasn't my intention. Every time that I've done the challenge, I've never done it with the intention to win. But knowing that I could this time around really set me in motion to get me where I need to go. And now I'm where I'm at. So there you go. So thank you for watching a series of Fruitful Events. Thank you for watching this episode. I look forward to seeing you guys in the future. And until then, see you next time. Stay juicy.